Okay, CULES, it's almost official. Iñigo Martínez is going to Al-Nassr. Unless something absolutely miraculous happens, Barcelona's main boss in central defense is leaving the team. No transfer fee, no fancy farewell tour, just shocking goodbye. Why for free? Because of a gentleman's agreement. Last season, Inigo already had an offer from Saudi Arabia, but he turned it down because he believed in Flick's project. But they made a deal. If a new offer comes next summer and you want to leave, we won't stand in your way. And now it's here. Inigo wants to give it a try and Barca is keeping its word. Yes, you can criticize Laporta and Deco for such terms, but this club is about people, and they're in an extremely difficult financial situation. That has to be taken into account. That's why I see this transfer as an unavoidable necessity. Especially when every euro is being calculated in Excel and La Liga is inspecting their budget with a magnifying glass. So what does Inigo leave behind? 46 matches in the 2024-2025 season. 3 goals, 3 trophies, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Supercopa, 400 La Liga appearances in his career, and most importantly, huge respect in the dressing room. Under Hansi Flick, Inigo became the leader. I saw how many of you feel. It's painful because Inigo became a big part of the squad, not over a decade, but in one season. The way he managed the offside line, supported the youngsters, played through pain, these things are unforgettable. The departure of Inigo Martínez from Barcelona is a done deal. All that's left is the official announcement. But let's break it down. Why did it happen so fast and what does it mean for the team right now? First of all, money. Inigo himself requested the transfer after receiving a hugely lucrative offer from Al-Nassr. And you know what? Barca is letting him go for free, the same way they signed him in summer 2023. But it's not that simple. This free move actually saves the club around 14 million euros in salary expenses. And that's critically important because that money might unlock the registration of new signings. Yes, the club is losing a key player, but without this sacrifice, they wouldn't even have a chance to register someone like Joan Garcia. And they are seriously calculating whether there's enough for others too. How much exactly does Barca save from Inigo's departure? Letting Inigo go frees up 60% of his 14 million euros salary, which counts towards financial fair play. That's approximately 8.4 million euros. It's only 60% because his contract wasn't part of the 1-to-1 rule and is only partially counted. How much has been freed up in total so far? Adding up previous operation, it's approximately 30 million euros under La Liga's fair play. These include the exits of Pau Victor to Braga, Pablo Torre to Mallorca, Ansu Fati to Monaco, Clement Lenglet to Atletico. Now add this, plus 10 million euros from a new sponsorship deal with the Republic of Congo. And here it is, 40 million euros saved. And that's a real number, enough to start registering players. Second, the speed of this deal is astonishing. The first offer from Saudi Arabia arrived in early July. Back then, Inigo said no, even though contract extension talks until 2027 were almost finalized. He wanted to stay, but when the moment of truth came, the second offer from Al-Nassr was simply too attractive to turn it down. The deal nearly doubles his current Barca salary. Inigo couldn't say no, and the club had no moral right to stop him because during contract negotiations they had promised, if you get a mega offer, we'll let you go without problems. Now the main question, why Inigo specifically? Because no one else from the center-backs left. Araujo stayed even with a reduced release clause. Christensen also stayed despite receiving offers. Cubarsí, Eric Garcia, Koundé still there. There's 5 center-backs for 2 spots, plus Koundé, plus young talents, and in this situation, Inigo's departure looked the most logical, even if painful. Okay, CULES, we need to talk about something that hurts, because if you weren't watching every minute of Barca's preseason, it might seem like nothing major happened. But believe me, for Hansi Flick, this is a disaster, and I'm going to explain why. From day one, Flick didn't see Inigo as just another center-back. While everyone expected Araujo or Christensen to be the starters, Flick quietly integrated Martinez into his bold, risky new model. High defensive line? No problem. Playing out from the back? Easy. A left-footed player with character and leadership? That's Inigo, no doubt. His level is fantastic. He's a leader, Flick said back in November. And he didn't just say it, he proved it with actions. Cubarsí and Inigo became the pair that cemented the new Barca. Araujo after injury, on the bench. Yes, you heard that right, Inigo benched Ronald. But more importantly, he was the shadow captain, the one who gave instructions, supported, shouted when necessary, and always stood up for the young ones. A true boss in the locker room, even without the armband. And you all saw how Flick fell more in love with Inigo's game after each match. In May, the coach said something that couldn't go unnoticed. He's not a typical footballer, he's a winner, a great leader. This might be the best season of his career, and he's 33. And to lose such a player 8 days before the start of the season is, without exaggeration, a blow to the heart of Flick's Barcelona. It's no coincidence that Joan Martín played as a left-footed center-back during the tour. It's no coincidence that Deco urgently flew to Asia. Something was already in the air, and today we feel it especially deeply. Inigo's departure doesn't seem to change Deco's summer plans, at least not in terms of new signings. The club doesn't intend to enter the market to replace the center-back. Okay, Inigo Martínez is gone, but Barca isn't only about the present, it's also about the future, which sometimes knocks on the first team's door ahead of time. And here are two boys who just might knock loudly. Barca Athletic has two left-footed center-backs, and that's something they're really lacking in the first team right now. Please meet Álvaro Cortés, 20 years old, the tank from Zaragoza. 1.89 meters tall, size and strength. He's got the whole package. He plays with incredible composure, can read the game early and intercept, even against fast opponents. He joined Barca's academy at 15, then a serious knee injury during a loan at Dam, but he came back stronger and became a leader in Albert Sanchez's team. He hasn't debuted for the first team yet, but he was on the bench against Celta, 2-2. Flick is watching him, and not just as a formality. Andres Cuenca, 18 years old, defensive intelligence with finesse. Started training with Flick last season, won on the Astor, called up for the Joan Gamper trophy, and debuted not just anywhere, but in the Champions League against Young Boys, replacing Inigo himself. Last season, he played both for Barca Athletic and the U19 team under Juliana Belletti, and won it all with them. UEFA Youth League, Spanish Championship, and Copa del Rey. Scored in the final versus Trabzonspor 4-1. His style, elegance, first pass, intelligence. He even played left back at times. In June, he was a key player for Spain's U19 team at the Euros. They reached the final, lost to the Netherlands. But Andres looked mature and composed. So who's ready right now? Cortés, older, more physical, more aggressive. Cuenca, more technical, younger, more elegant in decision-making. These are two completely different stories, but both full of first-team potential. Two left-footed talents are knocking on the first-team door, but at the same time, many are still processing Inigo's sudden departure. It came as a surprise. He had become part of the team's identity, a key figure in Flick's new project, a shadow captain, even without the armband. And maybe this wasn't just a transfer motivated by money. From the inside, the picture might have looked different. Ongoing registration struggles, a tense atmosphere behind closed doors, the leadership crisis surrounding the now former captain Ter Stegen, constant negotiations, financial balancing acts, mounting pressure. Perhaps Inigo simply made a decision that felt right in that moment, to step aside and allow the club some breathing room. To create space for others, Joan Garcia, Cuenca, Cortés, to quietly support a transition without making a scene. At the same time, he secured a solid deal, a way to protect his future toward the twilight of his career. For some, this move might look like sacrifice, for others a pragmatic decision, or maybe both. If his exit helps unlock new registrations, then it could be seen as a final act of leadership, done without headlines or fanfare. That's one way to look at it, but as always, it's up to each person to decide what they see in this story. How did you react to Inigo's unexpected departure? Who can replace him? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to follow every transfer move, team update, and daily inside info, download Barcelona Live. There we cover even what the official channels won't say. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.